I can always be serious for these, but that last one just got me. Alright.
Alright. It's Drewsky Mcgillicuddy, and today we're talking about the 86-year-old virgin.
Is that what it was called?
No. But before we talk about what the movie was called, what had happened was Chad had came over and we had got hungry. You ever get hungry? So we went to get some chicken wings. You ever want some chicken wings? Well, we wanted some chicken wings. So we went to get the chicken wings. We were like, hey, Sarah, you want to come get some chicken wings? Sarah was like, hell, you know I want some chicken wings. So we went and got some chicken wings. We were sitting there talking, and we're like, hey, I got all this fancy new equipment. I ain't seen your bitch ass since the
The Overlord.
Overlord. I keep wanting to say Uplord. That's not a movie, but it should be.
What's up, Lord?
What's up, Lord? Anyway, what were we talking about? So we were talking about we should watch a movie that none of us had ever seen. And then I got to talking about, well, there's this movie I ain't never seen that I've had for 5 years. I paid $2 for it. And the last time I saw it was going for $50 online. And Chad was like, well, I have to get me a copy of it. I was like, you don't want to pay $50 for that. And then we looked, and Martin from George A. Romero is going for damn near $90. Like, that's insane to me. So I couldn't have been more than happy with my $2 purchase from several years ago.
Do you think it's worth $90?
Let's talk about it.
We will find out.
Okay, so this movie starts out, and you got Martin. He's the main character, and this is like a real live portrayal of a real live vampire in the real world. Like, this movie, acknowledges the fact that Dracula and Nosferatu are a thing. Actually, I don't think they're allowed to say Dracula because they'll get sued. But they reference Nosferatu a lot, and but it's basically this is real life, and I'm going around sucking people's blood, and it's making me age real slow because apparently that's where I got. Well, he got the joke. I stole the joke from him because he wasn't gonna say it, so I said it. The 86-year-old virgin, because he's talking about how he ain't never date raped anybody that was awake.
He never had sexy time.
He had never had sexy time with anybody that was awake.
He's too shy.
And what we're talking about is at the beginning of the movie, he's on a train and there's a woman. And he breaks into her room and he shoots her with a tranquilizer, and like he's telling her, like, because she's freaking out because I guess he wanted to get her while she was sleeping, that way give her the tranquilizer, and then when he does what he does, she won't wake up, but she was already awake. So there's a struggle, and he's telling her, I don't want to hurt you, I don't want this to hurt, just go to sleep, and you wake up and you fall into a beautiful dream. And then he basically date rapes her because there he is rolling around with her naked, and then he cuts her and drinks her blood, and it's pretty intense. That's my segue to you, Chad. What do you fucking think?
The intro is very intense, and then it starts to slow a lot.
Just fucking repeat what I said.
That's how segues kind of work, but so then after the intro, it slows down a lot, and it gets pretty slow because he goes to, I guess, like a great uncle or something like that, or some kind of distant uncle.
I think it's his cousin. I'm pretty sure he said it's his cousin because the girl's his cousin, but it's her grandfather.
Yeah, so it's some weird
It's confusing.
relation. They never explain, and that's the issue. Actually, the beginning, they're not explaining much or not talking about much. There's no dialogue.
He's just wandering around. Yeah, you're just watching him live his life.
It's pretty slow.
With no exposition.
You probably wouldn't even continued watching it if no one else was
like, I honestly, the first 20 minutes will kind of turn me off. If I would have been by myself, I might not have given it, the chance it deserved, and I would have put it off for another however many years. Not that I would have never came back to it. I just would have, it's not a movie that I think I would have been able to get through on my own. If that makes any sense to any of you people.
I think it does.
But kind of like the others. I walked out of the others, and then I watched it several years later, and then absolutely fucking loved it.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
But this, I almost walked out of it, and I continued watching it, and it got better. Because it starts to show you his, tactics, like what he does. Like, I mean, you kind of see it in the beginning, but he goes to live with the cousin, like we were talking about, like Chad was saying, because he's going to save his soul and then destroy him. You want to talk a little more on that?
Yeah, definitely, because...
Take the floor.
So what happens after that is he starts calling this night, like his coast to coast show. It's a radio show, and he calls in, and that's a real clever aspect of the movie, because that's how you can kind of hear what his tactics are, like Andy was saying. And these shows, he's got like this fan following. They love when he calls in. And there's also this really cool scene, I thought, because they took these like horror tropes of like the fog and someone being kind of like followed in an alley and to this playground, and they kind of, it was very well done and actually spooky, but they kind of made a mockery of it, and you'll have to see what I mean. But
are you talking about when he was wearing a costume?
Yeah, because there is no magic. It's just a costume.
Yeah, that's the thing about this movie. Martin keeps telling everybody there's no magic. Even though he is 86 years old, because they say his cousin says, "Well, how old are you?" And he's not even supposed to be talking to his cousin, because the old man tells him, "Do not. I told your cousin not to talk to you, but she will. You're not to talk to her." And he basically gonna keep him prisoner in his room, but he tells him, "You're allowed to leave, but don't kill anybody in the city. Don't come into my room, and don't go into her room." But he slowly becomes friends with his cousin, and she asks him one day, "How old are you?" And he says 86 years old, but he looks like he's maybe 22.
And honestly, if it was so, you probably wouldn't even really believe he was 86, or you'd be wondering, like, is this guy really 86? But they show a lot of flashbacks, so it's pretty
like everything
apparent
that's
that
happening.
He really is 86.
Like everything that's happening in the movie is basically happening in the flashbacks as well, because there's a certain point in the movie where they, I guess, try to bless him, and it shows the flashbacks of them blessing him.
It's happened before.
And he runs away,
yeah.
And then he ends up running away from there. But like, it's just weird that I guess George was just taking his time and like just showing you how normal of a person, like normal of a character he is during the day. Because like after the train scene, like when it slows down, it was just him walking around, him finding out the rules of where he's staying. But once he starts working or whatever and going out and doing things, it picks up, and then there's a home invasion scene where he goes door to door the previous week, and he finds this couple, and he pretends to be deaf or whatever, and then he spies on them, because that's what he does. It's technically a montage, but it's not really a montage. But they show it's
He's
the segment of the
scouting
movie, him scouting
victims.
his victims, and his what do you call it, method, or his routine, that sort of thing. But I mean, the movie really does pick up, and it is very interesting. It's like, it's different. I've not really seen, I know, was it Silver Bullet that was talking about, not all the stuff is real?
Yeah, I think so.
It was one of the werewolf movies I had watched recently, was talking about not everything in the movies is true, and then this is a vampire movie talking about not everything in the, well, hell, even the Lost Boys, I guess.
Right. Well, that's one of the things I wanted to say was, I think this was probably one of, if not the first movie that did that. That threw away all of the cliches, and said, like, and tried to make it super realistic, Like, because he was saying how he was trying to trap him in the room where he was putting garlic up and crucifixes, and it wasn't working. The guy's like, there is no such thing as magic.
Yeah, because he even picks up the garlic and eats it.
Yeah, so the movie was dispelling all of the myths and cliches and just threw them right out the window. And this was probably the first movie to do that.
But
So
going back to the radio broadcast,
I liked about it.
I don't know if we mentioned, they call him the Count.
Yeah.
And he calls in and he basically, it's sort of montagey because like when he's talking on the phone, it also shows him like scenes where he is going out after his victims, and he tells them, you know, not everything in the movies is true, and he's talking about how he's, you know, never had sex with somebody who wasn't asleep because he drugs all of his victims, and then I guess he date rapes them. I don't know if I said that before. We recorded this thing I don't know how many times. This is the last time we're recording it. But anyway, so yeah, he goes around doing all this stuff, and then eventually there is one of his customers, because he works for his cousin delivering meat and stuff like that, and one of the people he delivers to, he starts doing handiwork around the house for her, and she comes on to him one day, and we both started giggling, and that's where we came up with the whole 86-year-old virgin thing.
Yeah, she goes to rub his hair to try to seduce him, and he literally takes off running. It was hilarious. So
I just thought I'd give you some kind of an example. Yeah, so I am glad you came over and watched this with me, because honestly, I don't think I would have made it past the first 20 minutes. I would have, you know, put it off just like I did this whole time, which is a shame. It's a shame. Because
I'm glad I finally watched it. I don't know why I put off so long.
I mean, I feel confident.
I couldn't find a copy.
I mean, because before we put the grade on, and we're not going to talk about it because I don't want to spoil anything. Even though this movie costs $90, it is available for free on YouTube, and you should probably check it out because it is very different, very unique, very original, and that's the thing about George Romero. He was always making something original. I mean, he was originated like the modern zombie, and this was just an original take on vampirism. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I feel you know, the ending of the movie, it just there's one thing that came, and I was like, oh my God, don't tell me this happened, and then that had happened, and then I was like, oh well, I saw that coming, and then the next thing you don't really see it coming.
Oh yeah, did you want to tell if it was worth $90 or not?
I don't know if it's worth $90, but it's worth putting a number on. Chad, you wanted to put a number on it, right? You put a number on it. Put a number on it, Chad.
Was it worth $90 or not?
If you have to have all the George Romero movies, I would pay $90 for this.
Yeah, that's what I would say. If you're collecting,
but if you're just wanting to watch this movie just to check it out, no, do not pay $90 for it. Watch it on YouTube. But if you are a collector like me and you can't get lucky enough to find it for $2, I don't know what to tell you. But put your fucking number on it. I gotta go to bed.
I give it. I really give it an 8. I thought it was a great movie.
I'm going with a 7.5. I would have gave it an 8 if it wasn't for that 20 minutes where I just didn't know where they were going or what the hell was going on. It was very weird, very early 70s.
Definitely.
And don't let Sarah hear this. I mean, she might even agree with me, but this is one of those movies that I would not be terribly offended if they were to remake.
Blasphemy.
Transfiguration.
You think that's basically Martin?
I seen Transfiguration. I believe that's what it's called, and yeah, it was definitely like Martin. Yeah.
Anyway, have you seen Martin? What did you think? Let me know in the comments section down below. Make sure. What are they supposed to do?
Like, subscribe, share.
Yeah, sure.
Sharing is caring.
All right, Chad did the best he could. I did the best I could. We're gonna have to stop having the thing flipped around because I noticed I keep looking over there. But I'm not gonna record this again, so you're just gonna have to fucking deal with it, okay? Because I'm leaving. I'm leaving and I'm not coming back.